Oh, that is the worst thing ever. Running out of juice and then getting a dry hit. But I got a problem. I'm out of juice. I got a little bit left, but I'm out of juice. And my big bottle is empty. Let's fill it up. So in this video, guys, I'm going to show you guys how I mix juice. I don't do 30 mils at a time. I do 50 mils at a time. I do 350 mils at a time. Let's get started. I'll show you how I make my own juice. Alright guys, so the things you're going to need, guys, this is extremely simple. You're obviously going to need some syringes for measurement. These are all blunt tip syringes, as you can kind of see right there. You're going to need your flavoring, your nicotine, if you use it. You don't have to. A container to put it in. Most people are going to do this. I'm kind of a heavy vapor, so I make this, and I go through it in about 2 weeks. Then you're going to need your VG and you're going to need your PG. I order this stuff a gallon at a time. I've had this gallon for 2 of these gallons, so I don't use a lot of PG, but I do use a lot of VG. Now, in this mixture, I'm doing 70-30. Quite honestly, the flavoring doesn't really matter, but if you've seen any of my other channels, you know exactly what I vape, and there are hundreds of calculators out there to help you guys mix this stuff up. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what nicotine I have. This is in a 100% PG solution. This is 100 milligram per milliliter of nicotine, which is the highest I can get from this particular company. But 100% PG, that way it does not take me for freaking ever to draw this stuff up. Alright, so as you guys can see right here on your screen, at the very top with the red square, we've got the nicotine juice, which is basically your nicotine solution. Remember, this is 100% PG or propylene glycol. We're going to be putting 10.5 milliliters of that in the 350 ml container. Now on your PG, your propylene glycol, just straight, we're going to be putting 24.5 milliliters into that 350 ml. The VG is 245, but we're going to do that a little bit different, and you guys are going to see that here in just a little bit. Your flavoring, I've got it set to 20%, and on that one, we're going to be using 70 milliliters. Now, instead of measuring it out, I basically just half these. Now, I did use a little bit to make, I think it was a 50 ml bottle. I just used half the bottle for one 350 ml. I used the other half for the other 350, which means this batch is going to be a little bit light, but it shouldn't really hurt too bad. So without further ado, let's go ahead, dive in, let's get this juice made. Now what I like to do, I like to get a bunch of paper towels. These are just really, really cheap paper towels because I go through these things like crazy. Then we're going to want to take off the cap of this little guy right here, and we're going to want to clean the lip of this. So I just clean that off real quick. I'm going to use this to clean this needle right there on the end whenever I get the nicotine solution. That way there's no nicotine on the outside. I can't hit my finger and basically get a nicotine overdose. As you can see, there is still a little bit in the bottom. Don't let that worry you. I do like to kind of swirl my nicotine solution just to make sure, you know, it's all mixed up, just in case it does separate. I don't think it does, but just in case it does. Now remember, we're putting 10.5 mils in this, and the way I do it, I pull that up a little bit. That way there's an air gap here, and I can get a better measurement. We're going to stick that down in there, and we're going to look at these graduations. And as we start pulling this up, we're going to be looking at that 10.5 mil mark. I'm going to have to kind of tilt it. I'm getting a little bit low here. Sucking a little bit more air. Nothing to worry about. Right there, we're at 10.5, and I want to go ahead and pull it out. As you can see, it does kind of look a little higher on camera, but I assure you, that's 10.5. So we'll bring that over here, put it directly into here. And now, remember, we got this paper towel. We just cleaned the lip of this. Now I'm going to clean the outside of that syringe. I'm going to wipe off the outside because the last thing I want is a nicotine overdose. Now, I know, some people say wear gloves, do this, do that. I have never had a problem with this. I've been vaping for years, and I've never had an issue doing it this way. This paper towel now goes in the trash. So once we're done with that, put the cap back on the nicotine. Now my nicotine I store up in a hutch here on my computer desk, and it stays out of the sunlight. It's obviously in my office, so it stays at a very comfortable 70 degrees. And yeah, I don't want this solution getting hot or getting hit by the sun. Alright, the next thing is flavoring, and if you guys want to measure it out, you can. Like I said, in my case, I do half and half, so we're just going to dump this in. Glub, glub. I'm going to let that sit there for a second, get all that goodness in there. Alright, got our flavoring in there. Whatever you do, do not lick that because it doesn't quite taste right at full strength. And now, swirl that nicotine into that flavoring. And now what we need to do is we need to get 24.5 milliliters of propylene glycol. So as you can see there, you know, it's about 24.5. I'm not really that concerned on the PG. So we'll just go ahead, force that down in there. Kind of give it a few pumps. Grab us another paper towel. Go ahead and wipe off the needle, wipe off the outside. There is nothing in propylene glycol that can hurt you. And now all the nicotine has been rinsed out of this needle, and this is how I store it because we're not using this for VG. I have sucked up all the VG through that needle. I've even taken this tip off and sucked it up through there. But what I found, put your nicotine in, put your flavoring in, put your PG in, and then just fill the rest up with VG. Move the PG out of the way. Alright, so now we get our VG. Now we're ready to pour this. And I said pour. We're not measuring it. We've already measured all the other ingredients. The only thing left is the VG. That's it. And instead of having to suck it up through that little bitty needle with this very thick liquid, we're just going to pour it in. Once you start getting to the top, start going slow. This stuff's thick and it kind of continues to pour a little bit. Get that last drop off of there. There we go. Grab our paper towel, wipe the lip of it. That way there's nothing on the outside to collect any kind of dust or anything. Put the cap straight back on. And that right there is what you got. As you can see, this will all separate out. This will become clear, and then you'll have multiple layers up here. But we are not going to let it get that far. I'm going to squeeze a little bit of air out of it. These things tend to kind of leak around the lip right here, so I just barely squeeze it in. As you can see right there, I just barely squeeze it in, tighten it down, and now, making sure that cap's on, just shake it. Usually I do this away from my computer screens. And I mean, after a minute or two, it should be pretty even. And once this particular flavoring is mixed, it stays mixed, guys. So no need to worry about it. Now we can fill up this bottle, and then we can fill up our vape. However, as you guys can see down in there, that cotton's a little dark. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to re-wick this G4, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it on camera in the next video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you guys have any videos that you want to see kind of like this, if you think I could do this better, hey, post down in the comment section below and let me know. But be sure to hit that subscribe button, click on that bell icon so you get notified whenever I come out with a new video. Again, hit that thumbs up button, and I want to thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.